U.S. Women's Open, presented by the brands of Ebonite International.
Hello, my name is Del Warren, Vice President of the Kegel Training Center, and it's a real pleasure today to discuss one of my favorite topics, getting together with four of the best players in the world and four players that have won major championships as we continue to prepare for the 2011 BPA United States Open. Kelly Kulick, Tommy Jones, Jason Couch, and Liz Johnson. And what we're really going to talk about is some pretty insightful stuff. How these guys actually prepare for a major championship and all the intricacies that go into it. And as we know, bowling is a pretty complex sport. There's a lot to consider. But when it comes to major championships, much like Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus said, you know, their whole year is based around preparing for the majors. Okay, so why don't we start with Jason Couch. Jason, you know, with all the things that you have to consider, how do you prepare for a U.S. Open?
Well, I'm going to go out there with an arsenal that I know is predictable. The U.S. Open plays really flat on the lane conditions, so you have to go out there. You don't want balls that change directions. You don't want balls that go really straight. You want something in between, what me and Tommy refer to as our benchmark balls. You know, I'm going to go out there with balls that are going to be really consistent, and I'm going to start to the outside, and I'm going to start with every bowling ball I have out there and throw some shots in that zone. If nothing looks good, I move to another zone until I find, you know, something that's consistent and go from there. I'll start with 3.5 4-inch pins, very strong pins, but they're very predictable down lane. They're not going to change direction.
So how many balls would you bring with you to a tournament like the U.S. Open?
Oh, well, I'm going to bring about 30 bowling balls with me, but, you know, for a practice session, you don't have a lot of time, so you really want to go down there with the middle of the road bowling balls, those middle 10. You know, you have 10 that are weaker, 10 that are stronger. Go with that middle 10, get comfortable with what you see, and then if the surface plays a little different and I think I might need something that's a little straighter, then I will go to that. But I always start with my benchmark balls in the middle to let me make good decisions on how I want to play the lanes.
Jason, that's really interesting, and certainly you've bowled a lot of majors in your career, and you've got your system, and obviously because you've been successful, it works. So now let's go to Tommy Jones. Tommy, do you kind of do the same thing, Jason, or do you do something a little bit different?
Yeah, to a degree. What I typically will do, I'll take a wide range of bowling balls into practice. I'll take a couple balls on the more aggressive end of the spectrum and a couple balls on the end of the spectrum that are non-aggressive. And then I'll have my benchmark balls, as Jason was saying. What I like to do with that is to try to figure out, I know my bowling balls going in. So it's very important that the people that are coming to bowl this event know their bowling balls. If you know your bowling ball, then you can kind of go and you can fit a ball in if you have to drill a ball there or something of that nature. For me, I'm looking to find out if I can eliminate the more aggressive balls or I can eliminate the non-aggressive balls, which side I'm going to eliminate and where I need to fit. For me, it's always very important to cross most of the house while I'm bowling practice to see if one end of the house plays a lot differently than the other, and to if it's a split set house or anything of that nature. You know, these are all information that you have to find. You go through and you don't want to go to a pair that you didn't bowl practice on and you bowl a bad game on it and now you think it's you and you make a bad move. These are all pieces of information that can help you if you get into trouble and everything else. But knowing your equipment is my #1 key to bowling a major. You know, you have to be able to make a confident decision to change balls, and if you learn that in practice, you'll be ahead of the game.
Interesting, kind of similar, but certainly two different approaches. Liz, you're getting ready, you're bowling practice, and you got your equipment. What do you do?
I agree with Tommy. You definitely have to know your equipment. My idea is usually bring in anywhere between 8 and 10 balls. I don't usually like to bring too many because for me sometimes my game is sometimes a little more simple, and if I get into too much equipment, it kind of gets out of that confusion stage, and you kind of second guess yourself on what to bring. I usually like to, definitely start at the beginning of the practice session and go from different ends of the house, because like Tommy said, the low end, usually when you get to like the middle of the house, it tends to hook a little bit more, and the high end could be a little tighter or not. So definitely like to take the whole end of the house and just learn your equipment and learn different angles of the lanes. You know, start on the first arrow, the second arrow, third arrow. Definitely get an idea of the lanes, and with that, with where the lanes are playing, gotta shoot spares. Especially bowling in some of the big is the majors. You're not bowling sprint bowling. You're going to a marathon, and you know, you miss a couple spares here and there, and that could be, you know, a cut or a TV show. And you know, definitely spares is almost probably one of the most important things, especially bowling on the majors. And if you're bowling on a short pattern, you're bowling on a long pattern, the way you shoot your corner pins may be a little bit different. So you definitely want to know certain angles on corner pins and all that.
So not only is it important that you're adjusting to try to find the pocket all the time, but you're telling everyone that that the pattern can sometimes dictate that your strategy for your spares change as well.
Yeah, depending on a certain pattern, a short pattern, a long pattern, there are times when I may use my spare ball for a spare, and other times I may use my first ball for a spare.
So in this case, we're bowling again on 39 feet, 5.21 ratio, where there's some oil in the middle, but certainly from the time you guys bowl on the fresh till when we really get on the burn, you may change your spare shooting strategy when they really start to hook.
Yes.
Okay, you do that as well sometimes?
I don't typically, because I throw it a lot harder than most people, so you know, it's not going to affect my plastic ball as much. I do use a plastic ball, a low friction spare ball at the majors, at every major, and I throw it as straight as I possibly can at every spare. The only thing that I will hook at is double wood at the U.S. Open. It's some weeks on tour when the lanes play a little easier, I will hook at the 3-6-10 or something like that, but not at the U.S. Open, not when, you know, the pattern's harder and you know, you need to know exactly what's going on.
Jason, is that what you do? Do you throw hard and straight at everything? Or?
Without question, especially at the U.S. Open, all the majors, you know, the pattern is so flat, and you want to take all the air out of play, you know, and spares are paramount. You know, spares pay the rent is our, you know, is what we say on tour. That's kind of our cliche saying is, you know, all the guys can strike out there, all the women can strike on their tour. You know, it's just, you got to fill the frames, and you got to make all those spares and keep it simple with the hard plastic ball.
Very good.